I was kind of trying to get change in Bollywood when I started out, and had some success doing it. Now be in Hollywood and being part of something that is also a movement that takes Hollywood away from its stagnation. The OTT platforms have democratized the industry a lot more. It's nice that other individuals who don't relate to the Bollywood formula now will get chances themselves to show their abilities and be able to be given a platform to grow their audiences. I think more people of color in positions of power would inherently give people of color main lead roles, and not just that, but also speak from an experiential point of view.
So, Abhay, thank you for joining us. We watched the trailer of your film Spin, and it has definitely, left an impact on the viewers. This time you're catering to the younger audience, like really young. What do you have to say to that?
This new adventure on the block. I mean, I've never done a movie catering to children specifically, so it's a first. This Spin in particular is a first on many counts. It's the first Disney film which is focused on an Indian American family. It's making a statement. It is putting representation front and center. The amount of kids growing up, my own nieces and nephews who've grown up in the US, now finally get to see a family that looks like them and isn't stereotyped, and is also the main protagonist. They are the heroes of this film. And
exactly.
So, it's an important film, even though another thing that I like about it, at the root of it, at the heart of it, as a story, it could be any family. It didn't go into finding my roots, whether I'm Indian or American. It doesn't go there at all. It actually is, it could be any family of any color, any background. And that's another thing that's beautiful about it. Because, it makes a statement without making a statement in that sense.
That's interesting. Now, Abhay, you've always picked characters that have won audiences' interest and engagement in films, and unknowingly have also become, part of our lives. How relatable was playing Arvind Kumar, father of an Indian American teen, Riya Kumar? I mean, you have no experience on that department, right?
I don't, but you never know. I could be hiding something. I've been I have nieces and nephews, and I've always treated them like my own kids. So I'm the cool uncle, so to speak, that they can speak with. So I've kind of had that experience for many years now, and I do have my sisters live in California, so it was relatable to me through their eyes. Like I said, through my nieces and nephews, and through my sisters' eyes, because my sisters are pretty much this character. Have lived more than half their life in the US, grown up in India. Now more than half their lives have been in the US. The kids are American born. Are they Indian? Are they American? Obviously they take on an American identity because that's where they are living and having children and family and business. So it was relatable to me in that sense. And that's why all the more important to do.
Yes. Now, you've always made a very conscious effort to ensure that you don't do a film, that's formula driven, that's essentially mainstream and too artsy and indulgent. I mean, you've always, been successful in opting for the middle path. Now, this film has a lot of drama, a bit of a mainstream element to it as well. Now, apart from the character, apart from the script and, the story, what else drew you into this particular film? Was it the director? Was it also the cast as important? And the production house?
Well, all of that. I mean, in terms of cast, Meera Syal is in there, playing mother-in-law. I've loved for so long and respect tremendously. So, Manjari, who I'd met 3 years ago, we kind of met in LA, and to know that she was doing this movie, I was keen on it because of her. Then upon working with her, I saw, how fresh a talent she is. The Disney, of course, the studio. And then, like I said, this is a film that makes a statement without making a statement. It's representation. It's the dialogue Hollywood has been having for too long and not really following up upon. We must thank the African American community for being so vocal for representation. Off of the back of their demands and their cries for justice, other people of color are gaining this sort of advantage as well. So that's one of the other big reasons. Is this
Hmm.
is this is the start of something new in Hollywood. Um, I was kind of trying to get change in Bollywood when I started out, and had some success doing it. So it kind of feels nice to now be in Hollywood and being part of something that is also a movement that takes Hollywood away from its stagnation, so to speak.
Hmm. Right. And are you happy, with the kind of surge in the interest, in OTT platforms and projects? Are you happy that the actors are now being known for their skills and not just because of, some key players promoting some names? Are you happy about that?
Yeah, I mean, OTT platforms aren't going to be like the classic Bollywood producer who's going to proper star, buy PR, get the brands, and create a persona of stardom around somebody who's probably just as talented as 500 other boys or girls out there. So, yes, it feels nice. It's more democratized. The OTT platforms have democratized the industry a lot more. I find that, of course, the OTT ideas and acting styles and plots are far beyond light years ahead of what Bollywood formula films are. And I find that now Bollywood is scrounging to catch up to the OTT platforms.
Right.
I'm sure Bollywood will always have its audience, and they should cater to that. But it's nice that other individuals who don't relate to the Bollywood formula now will get chances themselves to show their abilities and be able to be given a platform to grow their audiences as well.
Right. Now, there have been several films in the past as well, that are sort of where the story revolves around Indian American families and teenagers. And of course, talk about strict rules and stricter parents. But Spin gives a very interesting spin to that approach and treatment. Would you like to elaborate on that?
I don't know about any films that center around an Indian American family as such. But if you're asking me, or does it break the stereotype of Indians being strict and conservative? Sure, yes, it does do that. My character is really progressive, and it doesn't sort of make that as a statement. Like I said, at the root of it, this could be any family. They just happen to be Indian American, and you like all of these characters. There may be misunderstandings. There may be miscommunication, but everybody means well and they want the best for each other, which I think is any typical family anywhere in the world.
People have been ruing about the fact that there's not enough diversity when it comes to representation of Asians in Hollywood. What, according to you, is the solution, and what, according to you, has really been hampering, the representation of Asian Americans?
The solution is more films like Spin. It's a good place to start. As it does well, there'll be more and more such subjects. What can be done? More people of color need to be put in positions of power in a deciding factor, so that we can get our own perspective to our stories, as opposed to like a white perspective to what we go through. So I think more people of color in positions of power would inherently give people of color main lead roles, and not just that, but also speak from an experiential point of view, not from like an outsider trying to bring you in, but being an insider and being on the inside, so to speak. So more and more of that will happen, the more and more change will happen. And Hollywood, honestly, is an industry loved and seen all across the globe. If Hollywood only recognizes that they're not local, I mean, they know already that they do businesses all over the world, but they're that one unique film industry that can represent the entire globe, just like America as a country that in its diversity represents the entire globe. And so as soon as I don't think they realize how vast their potential is. More films like this come out, the more Hollywood realizes, oh, wait a minute, why do we identify as American? We are global and we should make global stories. Why are we only making local perspective stories? We could make stories from perspectives of people in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, wherever. We can do it and get away with it. We don't belong to one little city and state in this one country. We belong to the world. And no artist could ask anything more than that when the world is your canvas. And maybe they'll come around to that slowly as they start to open up and see perspectives from people like us and other communities. They'll suddenly realize, oh, wait a minute, we haven't even been seeing our potential. They've only been looking at their bottom line. They don't need to look at their bottom line. You know, the numbers on this would be far greater. They just don't realize it.
Thank you so much, Abhay, for your time and giving us your thoughts on your film Spin, which we all need to watch and get a lot from. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.